I never thought a single night could dismantle 2 decades of love, trust, and partnership. But life has a cruel way of blindsiding you when you least expect it. Emma and I had been together since our early 20s. Together, we built a life filled with laughter, milestones, and shared dreams. From buying our first home to raising 2 wonderful children, I believed we had faced every storm side by side, or at least I thought so. Emma was always the adventurous spirit between us. She thrived on new experiences, meeting new people, and pushing the edges of comfort. I was the opposite, steady, grounded, clinging to routine. Her spark was something I admired, even cherished, but sometimes the brightest flame can ignite fires you never anticipate. Back in the early days of our marriage, we used to joke about the idea of a one-night hall pass. It was the kind of playful banter couples throw around when they're still wrapped in the glow of honeymoon bliss, never believing it would matter. Only if it's Idris Elba, she'd once said with a teasing smile. I laughed, certain it was harmless fun. After all, wasn't our foundation built on trust? On love? But a few months ago, those words came back to haunt me. Emma started changing in small, unsettling ways. Longer hours at work. More nights out with friends. A new guardedness when it came to her phone. At first, I dismissed it. She had her own life, just as I had mine. But then came the new wardrobe, the sudden obsession with fitness, and an excitement in her that had nothing to do with our shared world. Something felt wrong. One evening, while we were watching TV, she casually mentioned a coworker's birthday party. "It's nothing big," she said while scrolling through her phone. "Just a few drinks after work. I won't be out late." Her voice sounded light, almost casual, but the way she avoided my eyes sent a quiet warning through me. I forced a smile and nodded, but my stomach tightened. The night of the party, Emma looked stunning. She wore a fitted black dress that clung to her in all the right ways, paired with heels I hadn't seen in years. She looked breathtaking, like the woman I'd first fallen in love with, but it felt like she was dressing for someone else. "You look incredible," I told her, hiding my unease. She smiled, but it didn't touch her eyes. "Thanks," she said, grabbing her purse. "Don't wait up." I sat in the living room pretending to watch a movie, though my mind was restless. Hours passed. My phone buzzed with a text from her. "Having a great time. Don't worry. Love you." It should have reassured me, but instead, it rang hollow, like words written out of duty rather than warmth. By midnight, she still wasn't home. I called once, twice, 3 times, straight to voicemail. My chest pounded as I tried to force reasonable explanations into my mind. Maybe she lost track of time. Maybe her phone had died. Maybe. I shook my head, unwilling to let darker thoughts take root. When Emma finally walked through the door at 1:30 a.m., I was waiting. Her cheeks were flushed, her hair slightly messy, and her eyes glittered in a way I hadn't seen in years. "You're still awake?" she asked, surprised. I nodded, steadying my voice. "How was the party?" She paused for half a beat, then smiled lightly. "It was fun. Just the usual office gossip and bad karaoke." She kissed me on the cheek before heading upstairs, leaving me alone on the couch with a growing storm of suspicion. Over the following weeks, the distance only grew. Emma seemed brighter, livelier, but in ways that no longer included me. She was constantly distracted, glued to her phone, and always ready with reasons to stay late at work. One night, while she showered, I found myself staring at her phone on the bedside table. The idea of violating her privacy made me sick, but the constant gnawing doubts were worse. My hands trembled as I unlocked it, using the passcode I'd known for years. My stomach dropped. There it was, an ongoing thread with someone named Adam. I scrolled, reading inside jokes, late-night secrets, and then the message that shattered me completely. "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." It felt like the ground collapsed beneath me. My thoughts spun. Was this the hall pass we once joked about? Had she actually taken that old joke seriously after all these years? I placed the phone back, sat on the edge of the bed in the dark, and felt my entire world tilt into pieces. I could barely breathe, my chest tight, my thoughts tangled and frantic. All I could do was wait for her to finish her shower so I could confront the reality I'd uncovered. When Emma finally stepped out, steam trailing behind her, she looked calm and unbothered. Her damp hair framed her face, her robe hanging loosely from her shoulders. Meanwhile, my pulse thundered in my ears as I sat clutching her phone in my trembling hands. Her eyes landed on me instantly, her smile faltering. "Is everything okay?" she asked carefully, her voice cautious. I drew in a shaky breath and held up the phone. "Who's Adam?" My tone was low but firm. The color drained from her face. For a moment she just stared at me, mute, the silence between us stretching like an open wound. Finally, she whispered, "It's not what you think, Ben." A hollow laugh escaped me, sharp and bitter. "Not what I think. So last night was amazing, can't wait to see you again. Means something else?" "Don't insult me, Emma." She lowered herself onto the edge of the bed, fingers knotted together tightly. "It was a mistake. Just once. It didn't mean anything." Her words struck harder than any blow. The woman I had trusted for 2 decades was admitting to something I never imagined possible. A mistake. My voice rose, breaking despite my attempt to stay composed. "We've been married 20 years, Emma. We built a life, a family. And you risked all of that, for this." Her eyes filled with tears, but I couldn't tell if it was regret or guilt. "We talked about it once, remember? Years ago, joking about a free pass. I thought," she shook her head, voice cracking, "I thought maybe it wouldn't hurt you." The words pierced me deeper than any confession. "You thought it wouldn't hurt me?" My voice shook with fury. "How could you ever believe I'd be okay with this?" She reached for my hand, but I jerked away. "I'm sorry, Ben. I wasn't thinking. I don't know why I did it. It just happened." I stood, pacing the room, my mind burning with questions. "Who is he?" She hesitated, then admitted quietly, "Someone from work." Her eyes dropped to the floor. "It's over. It didn't mean anything. Please, Ben, can't we move past this?" Her voice broke as she looked up at me, pleading. But I had nothing left to give her. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying every chapter of our marriage. The vows, the laughter, the promises we thought unshakable. Then came Adam's messages, the betrayal threaded through them, and the certainty that nothing would ever be the same. By morning, I couldn't bear to see her. I left before she woke and drove aimlessly until I found myself at my best friend Mark's doorstep. He opened the door, rubbing sleep from his eyes, but froze when he saw my face. "Ben, what's going on?" he asked, stepping aside. I collapsed onto his couch, my hands still trembling as I told him everything. He listened quietly, his expression shifting from disbelief to anger, then finally to sympathy. "Man, I'm so sorry," he said when I finished. "I can't imagine how much this hurts." I stared at the floor. "I don't know what to do, Mark. I love her. But I don't think I can forgive her. How do you ever come back from something like this?" He sighed, leaning forward, elbows on his knees. "That's a choice only you can make. But whatever happens, you don't have to go through it alone. I've got you." The days that followed were heavy with silence. Emma tried, texting me, leaving notes around the house, even waiting for me to talk, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. Every glance at her face dragged me back into the same raw wound. A week later, I finally sat her down. My voice broke as I spoke the words I'd been holding inside. "I can't do this, Emma. I can't look at you without seeing him. I can't trust you anymore." She wept, begging me to reconsider, but my decision was final. "You made your choice," I said, steady now. "And now I have to make mine." The divorce was grueling, every step like tearing our shared history into pieces. 20 years of memories divided into boxes and paperwork. But as painful as it was also freeing. Staying would have meant living under the shadow of her betrayal, and I couldn't. I knew I deserved more than that. The months that followed were difficult, but slowly, I began to rebuild. I leaned on friends and family. I threw myself into old hobbies I'd forgotten. Piece by piece, I started healing. The ache of her betrayal didn't disappear overnight, but it became lighter with time. I let go, not for Emma's sake, but for mine. And when the storm finally passed, I realized something I hadn't before. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away.